Ladies and gentlemen, you join me for another psychology session on your trading. Basically, it's you versus you. We're going to get into the topic, you versus you. You've probably seen it before. I'm in the wilderness again. We've got different bushes behind me, but we're ready to talk some psychology. I've just realized my phone can film in 4K, so we should be a lot better off here. Anyway, getting on to the trading topic. Look, you versus you is only you that can make a difference in your life. Yes, you've heard it all before, but trading is the main example of this. Only way to go forward is simply by being a more disciplined you. I can give you all these strategies in the world. I can be the new ICT. I can develop turtle head strategies. I can develop off the rev limiter strategies. I can develop every strategy in the world, but no, we keep it simple and we keep it to one strategy. The reason for this is if I can make it as simple as I can for you, then you can focus on your psychology. If you have the strategy down and you stick to the strategy, the one plan, you have rules, you have a plan, and you use the strategy day in and day out. You don't strategy hop when things are going wrong, because half the time, the only thing that's going wrong is you in your head. You're going to get into a trade. You're going to realize, oh, I over leveraged. I shouldn't have done that. Should I get out? You see the trade going a little bit of profit. So you're like, I'm not going to get out, even though you should have. And then the trade reverses and you blow your funded account, or you blow your whole account in general. So you need to start having the discipline of, I'm going to go in with the right portion size. I'm going to aim for reasonable targets. I'm not going to shoot for the moon. Again, this is what I teach and this is what I tell you to do in the strategy. Now, you're going to find a lot of reasons why the trade didn't work. But the bottom line is, if you followed your plan and you followed the strategy, maybe the market just didn't go in your direction. You have to learn the fact that if you keep strategy hopping, you're never going to get anywhere. We all have emotions. We all can realize, okay, look, the trade is lost. You do not move your stop loss. When trade is going in your direction, feel free to move your take profit. If you want to chase the trade up, by all means, chase the trade. Maximize as much money you can out of the market for that singular trade. If it means following structure to the upside like I have taught, then by all means go for it. But a lot of the times you're going to get into a position and it's going to go in the opposite direction. And this is where your mind starts to, oh, hang on a minute, I'm losing money. I'm going to be further percent down on this funded account and I'm already in the negative. This is when you have to say, okay, look, flip the narrative. I've done everything right in my strategy. If this trade goes wrong, it is going to go wrong. You're going to get people that sit on the charts as soon as they finish work and they're going to put in the backtesting hours. Meanwhile, you get home from work, I can't really be bothered doing that. I'm going to put on some Netflix. So you put on Netflix and then you realize when you've gone to bed, actually, you've just wasted an entire evening doing absolutely nothing. Maybe you had a little laugh about this film, or maybe you learned something new about the movie you're watching, the series you're watching. Oh, they pillaged the village instead of failing like you were led to believe on the previous episode. So it's all about following your plan. If you can consistently follow your plan, and consistently follow your rules, the only thing that's going to hold you back is your mental. As soon as you can start working on your mentality, that is when things are going to change for you. So please stick with the plan that I am teaching you, or whatever plan that you are currently using at the moment. If it's working for you, then please leave it. If it's proven by your mentor, by the person you are listening to, then please just stick to it and focus on your psychology work. You're going to notice this whenever you are in a current trade, whenever you're looking at the market. And the worst thing I can say is you can actually sit at the chart and watch your trade. The best thing for your psychology is to set limits using the horizontal line, make an alert and say, okay, look, if it hits here, I'm out. If the trade goes up into 1%, I'm going to set an alert so I can move to break even. If it moves to 2%, then I can move my stops further up and I can take more money out the market. And that is the entire process that you need to know. And the people putting in the work will find out this a lot sooner than you will. As soon as you can develop as many losses as you can, If you can rack up your losses, but you're following your plan, you can understand, okay, look, in this trade, I'm going to be completely honest with myself. I didn't follow my plan. It might have worked out. However, you didn't follow your plan. It was a bad trade. You could have followed your plan to the T. It would have hit your stop loss. That is a good trade because you did nothing wrong. If you say, okay, look, market came to this zone. It gave me the 5-minute engulfing in our case. It gave us the 5-minute engulfing. My bias was right. Just we didn't get it right for the day. So you'd close your charts. You'd be like, okay, do a bit of journaling. I did this. So you can make it in your trading as long as you get these mistakes out the way. And as long as you learn from the mistakes. There's going to be countless times, and I've done it, we've all done it. Every trader on the planet has made the same mistake at least 3 times before it's like, okay, boom, that's it. I'm no longer going to make mistakes anymore. But it doesn't matter if you've been trading 10 years, 20 years, 5 years, 1 year, you're still going to make mistakes regardless. We are human, we're not robots. Everyone says trade like a robot. You take a loss. Yes, you can feel emotional about it. You'll be like, okay, look, I took a loss. Fair enough. Fair enough. I took a loss. It hurts a little bit, but I'm going to come back tomorrow. And I'm going to take a next trade and I'm going to follow my plan. I'm not going to immediately get back into a trade once I've lost it and not follow my plan, simply for the fact that you've seen the negative in your balance and you want to try and make a positive. There's going to be multiple times and you're going to be watching this and think, okay, well, I've actually got back into a trade. I've done that. I've taken a loss and I've got back into a trade and I've lost again. This is the case for so many people. You go back into the same trade and you think, okay, well, look, it's now moving up, so I'm going to get back in again. And then all of a sudden it maybe moves up a little bit more and then you get stopped out. And then you spend the whole night grieving that, okay, well, why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. I'm never going to do that again. 2 weeks down the line, you do it again. Always journal your losses. Journal why it happened, why it did it, and you will make it. You can make this thing succeed. It's going to be hard. It's going to take many years. You know, it's unfortunate you see these guys on YouTube making, you know, thousands, 200,000, 50,000. I mean, people are making a lot of money from trading, allegedly, and it gives the false pretentious look. I've done it in a year, you know. Oh, I came profitable at 18 years old. When it's like, well, hang on a minute, you can only realistically start trading when you are 18. And you can only find profitability if you put in the hours. If you get home from work, you may be knackered. You may be tired. The realistic thing is, if you don't get on the charts and you don't do some studying, you're not going to get anywhere. Like me with these YouTube videos. If I say, oh, well, I've started daily uploads, but I'm going to miss it for one day. It becomes a habit. You get home, I'll stop trading. I won't back test tonight. And then it falls into a week. And then 2 weeks are not back testing. And then before you know it, trading is too hard and you've given up on your dream. You've given up on everything that you can picture in your mind. You can picture the fast cars, you can picture the pretty women, and you can picture the big houses. The reality of it is you don't do the work. And if you don't do the work, you're not going to get anywhere. It's the exact same with the gym. You can half-ass it in the gym. You can be like, oh, well, I'm here, but I'm only going to do the bare minimum. But the reality is, if you're there, what is stopping you from actually going above and beyond? What is stopping you from saying, you know what? No, I'm going to go to failure. Instead of, I'll do 10 reps and then I'll call it and then I'll go home and I can finally finish the Netflix series I'm watching. Or you can be like, right, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to push to failure. Then as soon as I get home, I'm going to be back testing. Instagram is the killer. Or TikTok. It is the killer, and I've been there and I've experienced it. If you're on Instagram, if you're on the reel scrolling, think about the positive impact that you could have on yourself if you just did something else. Learn books on money. Learn books on psychology. Learn books about trading. You have all this time, and yet people still say, I'm going to watch this. I'll just watch this YouTube video. I'll just do this. The reality is that if you don't actually start doing something soon enough, it's all just imaginary. It's never going to become reality. So, okay, I'm going to start trading so I can look forward to this Mercedes I'm eventually going to buy. But the reality of it is that you get home, you do absolutely nothing. You go to the gym. Oh, well, I've been to the gym. Yeah, but you did absolutely nothing. You did a few sets. You maybe felt it a little bit. But the reality is you did nothing. And you can be truthful with yourself because no one else, no one else is going to be there to be like, no, go on, do another set. You might have good friends. If you have good friends that will do that. But when you go to the gym by yourself, these bad habits are going to still kick in and you're going to still do the bare minimum possible. It's the same when it comes to trading. The more disciplined you are, the more, okay, I made a mistake. I over leveraged this account. I am never, ever doing that again. You write it down, you put it on a sticky note, attach it to your screen and say, look, every time I open the charts, I've got a reminder on my screen right there to tell me not to over leverage. And if for some reason you still over leverage on the next trade when you have the note blaring in front of you saying, do not do this because last time you were hurt in the past and you still go and do it, who is to blame? It's only you to blame. And this is what the market is fantastic for because it points out all the negatives in you. And a lot of the time it's the lack of discipline. It's the lack of, okay, let's watch this instead of let's just read a book. Let's read a book instead of, let's do 2 chapters tonight. You're reading 1 chapter and say, I'll just do 1 chapter. Even that is creating a lack of discipline in your head. I'll just do 1 and then I can say I've read something. I've read something today, which, yes, it's better than nothing. And this is what people get in their minds. Oh, well, I did something. Yeah, but you didn't do all you could. Let's say you have a strict bedtime, 10 p.m. Let's say, look, you got work. You've calculated the hours of sleep that you need. Let's 6-7 hours. I am going to read till 10 o'clock. You start reading maybe at 7:30. You don't just say, okay, now I'm going to read a chapter and maybe I'll scroll on my phone for a little bit and maybe waste my life. Instead, you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to stick to this book. I'm potentially even going to finish this book tonight because of the sole purpose of just staying disciplined to your plan. So a plan works inside and outside of trading. So stop wasting time with this pointless rubbish. It might be funny. It might be a laugh, but think about all the minutes you are wasting just by scrolling. There's plenty of times, and if you actually start realizing this, and if there's one takeaway from this video, is that when you're doing something that is in entertainment, enjoyment, such as watching a YouTube video, watching Netflix, or scrolling through your phone on Instagram, just have a little thought to yourself that, what actually else could I be doing here? Because you should open Reels and almost be disgusted at the fact that nothing's actually happening. Nothing's changing in your life. It is all the same nonsense. You're just scrolling. You look like an idiot. So start reading a book. Start content creation. Start making your own stuff. Start backtesting. Start reading. There's so many things you could do. Yet let's say, okay, well, I don't know what to do. I've backtested for 3 hours and now I don't know what to do. Read a book. Go on a walk. And make yourself bored. If you do not make yourself bored and you constantly, Reels, funny, this video's hilarious, even I look like an idiot doing it. So you get what you look like, right? So stop wasting time. Realize that actually you look like a fool. You look like a fool by just scrolling randomly on Instagram. Yes, I may sound like every other garbage that posts on YouTube, posts on Instagram, whatever. I may sound like the same, but it's true. If you actually take the time to realize of how much time you're actually wasting doing this pointless garbage, then you start realize, well, actually, I can make a difference with myself and there will be a turning point. It may not start at first, but maybe a year down the line of just doing nothing, and especially when you're trading, because you get the false sense of hope with the amount of money you can make and this, that, the other, and the limitless possibilities that you can have. And that's the perfect thing about trading, because it gives you this insight of what is possible. Yet, for some reason, you're not willing to work towards it. You're not willing to do the work. You just want to see the results, which would be fantastic, wouldn't it? But if you think about all the knowledge you can gain from the books, from reading the charts, from, maybe watching inspiring podcasts on your drive to work instead of blaring music out the speakers. Think about all the time, all the little snippets of time that you can have to actually provide yourself value. You're driving, you're on a road trip, or you're getting the bus to work. You're blaring rap music in your ears. Yeah, feeling cool, feeling fantastic. Woo! Great. But there's another person on the other side of the bus, potentially listening to something informational. They're constantly learning. It's a constant process. And the amount of compounding that you can do is insane. You read one book today, you can, you start building this immense level of just discipline and knowledge of, you go on your phone and you eventually look at the reels, like I was saying, and you're like, why did I ever entertain this? Why did I ever look at this reel and think, you know what, that's productive, that's funny, that's great? You just like, that's rubbish, that's garbage, you're poisoning my brain. And you get your dopamine hits from reading a chapter of a book, from doing an hour's worth of backtesting, for posting a YouTube video. Let's say you're into content creation. You get the dopamine from doing productive tasks. That's not to say you don't need enjoyment. By all means, have some enjoyment. Go for a drive if you like driving, but don't make it a habit. Always, always, always do something productive if you can. If you are going for a drive, make sure it's not excessively long. You don't need to go on a 3-hour drive. Go on 30-minute, an hour drive, get back home, do some backtesting, do some reading. Let's say you've got a podcast on. All right, let's say you've got a podcast on your home, you're cooking dinner, boom, push-ups. Do some push-ups, get back up, go back cooking your food. Be disciplined, because if you're not disciplined and you continue to waste all this time that I know you're wasting, you know you're wasting, because I was the same. I was immediately going on my phone. As soon as I woke up, I would wake up early because I like to wake up a little bit before I get out of bed. Now I set the alarm and I just get out of bed. And that's the difference. Instead of waking up, I would like to wake up a little bit. But the reality is that you're addicted to the dopamine that your phone brings you. But if your phone no longer brings you dopamine, for example, you're not using it anymore. Instead, you maybe get up, get showered, go, and then you'd be up. You'd be up. And then you can maybe read a couple pages before work, do a couple push-ups before work, or start working on a video before you have to go to work. And that's all it has to be. Just keep yourself disciplined and get off the phone. If your business requires work on the phone, obviously do the business on the phone, because that again will provide you dopamine. If you have to reply to 10 emails, reply to them all at once, dopamine, done. Okay, that's one job done. Next. As soon as you can complete one job, it becomes so easy to do the rest. It is unbelievable. And honest to God, it is such a great way to be productive, is just to do one task. I'm not going to say make your bed. Make your bed should be a standard for everybody, everywhere. If you get out of bed, just make your bed. It's a good habit. But that habit will not carry, I did one task, so therefore I'll be motivated. Making your bed isn't a big enough of a task. If you make a 20-minute long video and you edit it and you sit through it, that's a task. And you're like, okay, you know what? I've got the time. I'll make another one. Or I'll tell you what, while I'm watching this trading video, I'm going to listen to it while I'm doing some push-ups or while I'm doing some bicep curls or anything like that. As soon as you can start developing and getting off your phone and actually start doing productive tasks, then you will start seeing the results. And it's actually amazing, because it doesn't take long for the dopamine to switch. It doesn't take long at all for it to be like, these reels are boring. It takes 3 days of pure discipline of ignoring every single reel you send. Your friends are going to send you reels, ignore them. Simply just go onto the charts, backtest, read a book, post a video, and your dopamine will slowly start switching. You're going to want to read the book. As boring as books may be, especially the ones about making yourself better, and it's normally full of the same jargon that I'm waffling here. But as soon as you can start getting your dopamine from flipping the pages, reading the chapters, or doing your push-ups, or posting videos, or anything under the sun that's productive, then it's like you start to want to do these things. As soon as you can develop a habit of doing that, you are on the right path. Just get off the phones, get off the reels, stop watching Netflix when you get back. Flip your dopamine. Flip the dopamine to the books, flip the dopamine to the charts, and I swear to you that you will find profitability earlier than you will think. We all have a time in our head. Maybe it'll be 5 years. Maybe you obviously want it to be, this year's going to be my year. And then you realize, no, it's not. And you've actually wasted the whole year scrolling on reels, half-arsing, doing a bit of back testing, losing trades, switching strategies. And it all piles up into big ball of a waste. Again, I've been there. It happens. So it's up to you to change it. Because if you don't change it, then lo and behold, this is a new year. But you've changed nothing, well then what's the year going to entail? More losses, more strategy hopping, more dopamine intake, more rotting of the fucking brain, just dead. So stop wasting your time with this pointless shit and actually get on with doing some actual work. Flip that dopamine. It doesn't take long, which you'll be fantastic. You'll be so glad to hear that it doesn't take long because that's how lazy you are. Oh, what? It only takes 3 days for the dopamine to switch. Lo and behold, there we go. So if that is nothing to take away, then I don't know what I'm doing. But please start trying to flip your dopamine into the chapters of the books. Just do some workout. And when you do work out, make sure you work out. Oh, I feel a little bit of strain, but you know you can do more and then you stop anyway. What's the point?